There's still no deal on the debt ceiling, and there are major concerns for the U.S. economy.
If there is no agreement between the president and Republicans in Congress, the country is on track for a catastrophic default as early as June 1st. But there are signs of hope after President Biden's meeting with Speaker McCarthy Tuesday. Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott has the latest. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And well, this is a sign of increasing urgency. The president canceling part of his foreign trip to focus on these negotiations. The leaders say they are making progress, but still no deal yet.
This morning, President Biden departing for a trip cut short as the nation barrels toward a catastrophic default.
I'm postponing the Australia portion of the trip and my stop in Papua New Guinea in order to be back for the final negotiations with congressional leaders.
Biden will now only travel to the G7 summit in Japan, summoning top congressional leaders to the White House before his visit, trying to hash out a deal.
We're having a wonderful time. Everything's going well.
The leaders emerging from the meeting hopeful. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy signaling progress, but telling me the two sides are still far apart.
What progress was made in this meeting? And you wanted to see a deal by the end of the week. When do you think a deal could be possible?
It is possible to get a deal by the end of the week. It's not that difficult to get to an agreement.
To raise the debt limit, Republicans are demanding spending cuts, pushing to claw back unspent COVID funding and impose stricter work requirements for some federal aid programs. Back on Capitol Hill, McCarthy told me that's non-negotiable.
Is the work requirements on some federal aid programs a red line for you?
Yes, this helps people get back into the workforce. It helps solve our supply chain. It takes us away from being dependent upon China.
Without a deal, the federal government will run out of money to pay its bills as soon as June 1st. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warning the consequences would be dire.
The U.S. economy hangs in the balance. Livelihoods of millions of Americans do too. So there's no time to waste.
So the president will now return back to Washington on Sunday. With time running out, the White House is calling on both parties to negotiate in good faith and recognize that neither side will get everything at once, George.
Yeah, but if there's no agreement, Rachel, walk everybody through the consequences.
Yeah, George, so let's break this down. The consequences would ripple through the entire economy. One of the biggest impacts would be jobs. If the government defaults for just 1 week, 1.5 million jobs could be lost. Unemployment could soar to 5%. The industries that would be hardest hit would be financial services, construction, manufacturing, hospitality, and retailing. And the longer it takes leaders to make a deal, the worse it gets. Take a look at this. At 2 months, 7.8 million jobs could be lost. Unemployment would soar to nearly 8%. Job losses would then be widespread across all industries. So we're talking about your 401k being hit hard. The stock market would plunge. It would cost more money to borrow money, and mortgage rates would then soar. George, leaders on both sides of the aisle agree on one thing. They do not want any of this to happen, but the more they wait, the more they put the economy at risk, George.
Rachel Scott, thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.